are still coming through.
Hey, we're tying into the old school.
we had to tie into the prequels somehow, you know.
Right.
When we're getting flashbacks, listen, you got to tie. Why did we not get Newt Gunray in this episode?
Honestly, I'm not even watching the last one now.
Wasn't that on your demand list?
That was on my list. We'll pull that up in a minute. But anyway, welcome back, Force family, to Star Wars, guys. We're diving into Kenobi, and we're diving in deep on this one because this was a fantastic episode. But before we get into it, we got our guest, Joe Mark Scores here. We got J-Man here with us. You probably have heard him. You've seen him on the cast before. So we're happy to have him here. Mike's out this week. We've been having people out left and right. So we're glad Joe's able to fill in.
Better shape up.
Myself, Nate, and you know him well, Uncle. So yeah, we're gonna dive into episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Let's talk about the upcoming Ahsoka episode 5 series that we haven't seen yet. Got a whole nother list of demands for that one.
Yeah, a whole list of demands. Listen, if this doesn't happen before the show actually comes out,
Kenobi! That's what we're on.
I don't see a B1 battle droid in episode
Right.
3.
Yes.
this episode.
Oh man.
Was just I can't. Let's just get into it because I can't wait. And we know it's going to be a good cast. So if you're here, 1, thanks for tuning in. 2, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend about Star Wars, guys.
Please do.
We really appreciate it. Helps
Please
the numbers.
How many regrets are there of people saying how bad the show is after this?
After this,
Is anybody gonna back up and go, okay, wait a minute?
I was a little feisty. I made a friendly joke on Twitter, and I said, this is a different one. I said, I don't want to hear anybody else now saying that this show didn't give us what we wanted, because I don't know what more could you ask for?
Man.
I mean, this is fantastic.
It's awesome.
But yeah, we'll dive into it. We usually like to start with just overall thoughts, nothing too deep, but just overall thoughts on the episode. We'll throw it to Joe.
Marvelous, you might say. It was
Miss Marvelous.
Miss Marvelous.
Miss Marvel.
This summer. Yeah, no, it was. Might have been
Say it. Go ahead.
favorite.
This is your favorite episode of the season. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe the favorite
Ever.
favorite hour.
Favorite hour?
Or what was that? 40 minutes.
Almost.
40 minutes?
Hey.
Hey.
It was. I mean, you said it did. It gave you everything that you wanted. You get prequel flashbacks. You get Vader just.
Peak Vader.
Man was just taking chunks of shit.
It was amazing.
And
He was just flicking the wrist,
throwing it.
just throwing metal.
Yeah.
It made me wonder why I didn't do that on Hoth, but
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
he's
different
older.
thing, but-
Times he's older.
I don't care. I'll
Maneuverability.
take it when I can get it.
His midichlorian count's going down. We all know it.
Going down.
Leaking.
Every
every
wrinkle he gets, the more pale he becomes, he loses midichlorian.
Well, they said Vader at his peak. This is pretty
This
much.
is-
This is peak
Vader's
Vader. I don't know if we've seen him stronger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, you
it-
give it out of 10 Vader helmets.
10 Vader
Out
helmets.
of 10 helmets.
11.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
I like
wow.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That was-
Hey, I'm with you. This is not only isn't it my favorite episode of the season, it might be this could easily be my favorite live action TV episode for Star Wars. This is one of my favorite hours, or I guess 40 minutes span of all of Star Wars. It was fantastic, and not just because we got quote the things we wanted in terms of Vader and some flashbacks and stuff, because realistically we got that in the prequels when they were actually there.
Right.
But it fit the story. It fit the story. They weren't just showing flashbacks just to be like, hey, it's cool showing training, and we'll get to this. But the training, if you watch it, we'll get to it, but the training they're working on in that scene immediately cuts to what Vader does against Reva. And we'll dive into all this stuff. But overall, I love this episode.
The training is the episode.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It is my favorite television episode of any Star Wars show yet. Any show yet. And there's got some stiff competition. We got Luke showing up.
Yeah, yes.
We got Ahsoka and Luke, the Ahsoka Luke episode on Boba Fett. Not together, but there.
Right.
So,
Both of those Luke.
and I think perhaps the most emotionally compelling moment I've seen
Yeah.
had nothing to do with Vader, had nothing to do with Obi-Wan. I mean, Obi-Wan was in the background.
Yeah.
when Tala is going down.
Oh my! In the droid.
And the loader is.
The loader.
It is
guarding.
You have a non-human character. My kids are crying. It's
looking
like,
her in the eyes.
It's spectacular.
And one that doesn't talk.
Doesn't talk.
Just one that doesn't talk.
It's fantastic.
So good.
It is so good, and it is a Deborah Chow love letter. That's what this is. It's bookended with foreshadowing, with this battle where Obi-Wan is talking about Anakin's weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that bookends all the way to the end where we see that exploited.
Yeah.
And it ends with the answer to the training that Obi-Wan gives.
Right.
It's a beautiful little poetic segment.
It really is.
There, and it drives the story, explains the characters deeper, and pushes us more. We get more Leia, we get more Obi-Wan. It's so good.
And as it wraps up too, it reminds you there's still one episode left and leaves you on a cliffhanger.
I know.
Literally, you get the whole thing, like you said, bookends. But right then, it's like, boom, this happens. Okay, well, obviously, how are they gonna address this next episode?
Right.
Man,
just loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the best way to go about this other than to just start from the beginning of the episode. Just go through. I mean, we open and it's flashbacks.
Yeah.
We open up and seeing Hayden Christensen's ponytail and Padawan braid is just fantastic because you know the turn is coming.
Right.
And he's standing with that same look that he has when he's out with Padme looking out in the distance. Yeah, it's just same look, everything is so good. And then you just get the slow turn and you're like, oh man.
Here we go.
We're not wasting any time on this episode. We get right into the flashbacks, right into training. And can I just say, hearing Hayden Christensen's voice, I don't know I was wondering this, and you might have a better ear for this than I do, but was that Hayden Christensen just trying to make his voice sound a little bit younger? Because I've heard him in interviews. He doesn't sound the same as he did when he was 20-something in the prequels.
He doesn't.
His voice has matured.
Yep.
But when they did this, and he's saying, yeah, master, or it's over, master.
Yep.
Or what, like, it sounded prequel Hayden Christensen.
Yep.
And then immediately I thought, is that him just doing that with his voice, or did they do something to try to make it?
It's really easy to pitch up a voice. Really, it's just pitching it up.
Okay.
They probably just said do it higher and see if you can get it up there.
Sure.
But then once they get it in post, they're going to edit that and they'll get it to sound like
okay.
Yeah.
Because
it could have been just him.
I thought it sounded great.
Could have been just him. Yeah.
Sounded good.
I'm not sure. I might go back and listen to it again.
And just hearing him say master and it's over.
I know.
In the fight. It's over.
I know.
Like,
it's so great.
So great.
And what's so cool is that Anakin uses the same trick that he learned from Obi-Wan in that fight.
Yes.
But is still fooled because he's still going for the victory instead of thinking about.
Exactly. That's what I was hinting at when I said we'll get to it later. Yeah,
it was wonderful.
Man.
It was great.
So good. Those two scenes together.
Reva.
I guess Reva was more towards the end, and training was kind of throughout.
Yeah. Right.
But it's like leading up to it, and then you see it, and it's like almost side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just get right into that part. So, what we're specifically talking about when we're saying the side by side, you mean like when he's telling him you're worried about winning, all you care about is winning, basically, right. and in his lightsaber. He's like, basically, he's saying you're relying too much on your weapon and winning this battle as opposed to just ultimately how can I defend?
You're not
because he's saying it's not about.
It's
not about it's about defending. That's what Obi-Wan basically says. It's like it's about defending. It's not about necessarily winning or striking down your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Obi-Wan loses his saber, he says it's over, and he's like, no, it's not over. Continues to maneuver, ends up force pulling.
That's right.
Anakin's saber, and that ends the lesson of like, you still got a lot to learn. As long as you are out to win the battle
at all costs,
you will remain a Padawan.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's so great.
And then that cuts right to what you're saying, Joe, about the Reva Darth Vader moment, where for the first 2 minutes of that whole fight, he doesn't have a saber at all. Yeah. He doesn't pull out his own saber once.
Right.
Yet alone, the whole time he's just Muhammad Ali dodging all these swings,
no chance.
forcing It was just
Just
exactly
holding the blade.
what he was like. I don't need my weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Obi-Wan said that too. He
Yeah,
handed his weapon to.
I don't need a weapon.
Oh gosh, what's that guy's name?
You're gonna defeat him to
Roken?
Roken.
Broken. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Roken.
Yes, he hands his weapon. He's like, "There's other ways to, you know."
Yeah,
The other way.
He
Yeah.
just hands it off.
yeah.
And they both kind
Man.
of do that.
There is so much in there. I was hoping, and again, I'm not disappointed, but wouldn't it have been cool if he would have said, "Until you learn to stop only fighting for the victory, you will always be just the learner."
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Because the
'cause,
line
yeah.
later, yeah.
Because Darth Vader says, "Now,
I was a learner.
now I am
Now
the man."
I.
Because the
am master
Padawan
was but a
term
learner.
hadn't come into the
Yeah.
Yeah.
into the thing.
True, man.
But we know what it
man,
was.
yeah.
There's so much interesting things about Anakin, about Obi-Wan understanding how Anakin thinks. But then we see Anakin has progressed because he's using the training from that scene against Reva.
Yeah.
But he hasn't progressed past Obi-Wan to realize he's still focused on the front. But he did learn because he wasn't just focused on Obi-Wan. Because remember he said, how am I gonna? Won't he see me coming?
Yeah.
And Anakin and Obi-Wan says, no, he'll be focused
He'll
on
be
me.
focused on me, yeah.
Which is what he remembered Anakin being fixated on before.
Mhm.
But he wasn't. He
Yeah.
did see her coming, so he has progressed, but not to the point of realize Obi-Wan was still
Right.
one.
They still
step,
got away.
one step
Yeah.
beyond him,
Still one step beyond
which
him.
is
At the cost of Reva, unfortunately.
right. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, true. But I mean,
It
in
did
that
the
moment,
same thing. That,
in that
yeah,
moment,
right. In that moment,
her stomach's hurting, but
Yeah.
she's got to go now. She knows everything.
she has to.
She's
She
gonna
knows
piece all this
everything.
together. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The child on
Yeah.
Tatooine. What is this?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got some comments. I think they're referring to Reva's death. Says it's better than being ended up with spider legs. If you're Darth Maul.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true.
really.
Yeah, we don't want that. Somehow the Grand Inquisitors returned.
Somehow it was always there in the shadows.
Going off that too of him realizing Reva betrayed him in that moment. I thought it was interesting. I'll have to go back and watch the wording again in that scene. But I got the impression when watching it that it wasn't just this moment.
No.
It's like, what if he sees it coming? He didn't just see it coming in that moment. Like, it wasn't like,
No.
oh, she snuck up behind him. Oh, I sense it. Okay, I'm stopping
it
her.
wasn't that.
He knew the whole time.
That's right.
He knew
Yeah.
before she became a Grand Inquisitor. He knew
Mhm.
from the very get-go when he said, I know what you're after.
Mhm.
If you're successful, the position of Grand Inquisitor will be yours. He knew the whole time.
That's right.
Because the Grand Inquisitor is just off chilling until he brings him out. And he even calls her out. And is like,
Right.
for how much of an insult is being called a youngling?
Whew.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's such an insult now. It's like, youngling. Oh,
Youngling.
man. But, yeah.
Still seems like it. What a great connection they had between the wall there. It was just.
Oh,
it was.
yeah.
It was very. I mean, we see it again with Kylo Ren. We see the same kind of thing, or Kylo's goals are not the same as Snoke's goals, or the Emperor's goals. But
Mhm.
they are Snoke. But they do. But he is still. So he could still betray Snoke, and not be on Rey's side. Right.
Yeah.
Same thing here. She's not on Obi-Wan's side.
Right.
But
Right.
she can use him to betray Vader.
What did I say? I said
It's
this
the
in a
same
previous
subtle-
podcast. I think I said, I see her like Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I said, my guess,
Common enemy.
she is out for Vader. She
Mhm.
wants to get as close to Vader as possible so that
Yep.
she can out Vader.
Yep.
But she's not good. She's obviously willing to kill people and cut off hands.
Sure.
And so she's not
If it
good.
serves the purpose.
No.
But if it serves her purpose in taking out Vader, it's just like Maul. I'm evil. I hate Obi-Wan, but I hate the Sith too because
Yep.
of what they did to me. And
Yep.
in this case, it's what Anakin did to her
Mhm.
family, her other friends, the other younglings.
She's driven by the same things, Anakin, and hatred. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's just
Yeah.
focused toward Vader.
Yeah.
I don't think she's any more. She's not good.
No.
She's every bit as bad.
right.
Yeah.
She's just focused on killing the other bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But she seems closer to the light.
She seems
Once you
well,
have that discussion, if
she
you're like,
seems like her hatred is due to a soft spot for wanting to help,
Mhm.
like not help, I guess, like these people, because obviously she just went in with the stormtroopers, didn't
Justice.
bother her.
yeah.
But in a sense that because of what happened, she was angry because she cared about the people she lost.
Yeah.
And unlike, Anakin, where his hatred turned to everybody else but the person who
Right.
caused everything in Palpatine.
Yep.
Instead, he turned and took his hatred out on everybody, whereas Reva is helping Vader, but her hatred is still directed towards the person who caused everything, which is Vader. So, yeah. Man.
What a bad. One of my hopes is that Vader would look worse, like meaner.
Yeah.
I think he does.
I think
And
know
more
he does.
powerful too. Holy cow!
How strong is Vader in this? I mean,
course.
peak Vader.
Peak Vader. I thought we were gonna get a little cave hallway scene for a sec. When he opened the blast doors open
Right.
and started walking, I was like,
Right.
Yeah, we got
like,
we got a
It
quick
looks like
quick
Yeah.
walkthrough, but
Yeah.
that was about
I
it.
know.
I thought I was about to go ham on, but there's no one in there, so
Yeah.
probably for the best.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And they've managed to keep Vader's saber. His movement is still feels more like 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and
Mhm.
6.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yes.
It's not as
Yes.
fluid as you would see.
Strong, but not as
It's not
as
prequel
fluid, yeah.
style.
Right.
limber.
His swings were
Dooku.
slower and strong, but
Yeah.
strong though.
But he's using his
Yeah.
other abilities are so heightened.
His
Yeah.
force ability is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Just how many times did he push her back, stop the blade?
Yeah.
How about the spinning blade? He
Yeah.
slows it down, and then gets to the point where he's just like, all right, I'm done doing that, and just takes it.
Right.
Yeah. Just pops
Just takes
into-
it, pops it into.
I had that skill in Fallen Order.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Slow
And
it
you
down.
can break it in half.
Break in half.
Yeah. Cal
Man.
Kestis,
There
Darth
it is.
Vader.
True.
I mean,
Hey, Cal
Same
survived him.
So you
Cal
want to hear my
survived.
theory?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's get into it.
It's a joke. I told my kids that I think these are my kids. So we all watched it. And I said, you know what happened? You know what's going on, right? Like what? I said, young Leia is a clone. It's not a Leia. That's why she's a little bit, she moves a little different. She's a clone. And the real Leia is safe back on Alderaan. And she's going to die in the next episode. The clone is.
Safe on Alderaan with Mace.
Yeah, with Mace
Yeah.
Windu. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luke.
And Luke. and Luke's clone, though. Luke.
They're all hanging out. They're all
Luke.
clones.
Luke.
She's hanging out with Luke's clone.
They didn't believe me. They were like, "That's dumb."
Like, boo. But is it real,
Boo.
though? Is it?
But it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It was on my list.
It was on my list.
Okay, so I've been ranting a little bit about. We talked a couple weeks about what's wrong with Star Wars,
Yeah.
and we love that you guys keep it positive in our chat.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
important. And we do have a positive, glass half full, Pepsi is fine attitude here
We
on the
do.
Star Wars Guys podcast.
We tried to, yeah.
Right? So I think part of the problem with the Star Wars universe right now is the fans.
Yeah.
I just think we need to be more grateful and enjoy what we have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. So here's it's a mayonnaise theory. This is my mayonnaise theory.
I like
It's
this.
Joe's like, is this what we're going to talk about? Yeah.
Mayonnaise.
So a mayonnaise theory. So like somebody says, is your mayonnaise good? And I would say, no, it's terrible because I don't like mayonnaise.
Right.
But what I should really say is, if you like mayonnaise, you will love it.
Yeah.
So all I can really say is I don't like it. I can't say it's good or bad. Really, all I can say is I don't like it. Is Picasso good or bad? Well, all I can say is I don't like it.
Right.
But some people love it.
Yeah.
So when you share your opinions, but don't make a judgment on good or bad. Just say, I don't like it.
Yeah.
People say this show is trash. Well, that's kind of a blanket statement. You can say I don't like it. You can also appreciate
Or
that someone
even just
else
say,
does.
I think the show is trash.
Boom. There you go. You can say, I
Twitch.
don't like it.
Yeah.
You can. It's your
Overarching
mayonnaise.
Vibe would be you are
Yeah.
trash.
You are trash.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, though. Just
Applying an absolute.
lens.
Only a Sith speaks in absolutes.
that's right.
Show is not trash.
And right now, we're seeing a lot of Sith there on social
a
media.
A lot of Sith like.
A lot of
A
Sith.
little too many.
You've done
More
that
than two.
yourself. Right?
Darth Bane would not be pleased.
Not be.
Yeah. Yeah, more than two, yeah.
That was a little off the rails.
No,
But the
that's a good
idea
point.
is that we can apply what we like and what we don't like. I try to keep the opinion about what it is It's not good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Either like it or I don't. But I can't just say that's good,
Exactly.
that's bad.
And here's the thing, too.
Art doesn't work that way. Art is up
Right.
to what you feel about it, and some people don't like it. Some people
Right.
do.
And here's the thing, especially with these, now that they've got so many Star Wars projects coming out with these different shows, not every show is geared towards maybe the specific or what the quote-unquote Star Wars group. Every show could be catered towards a little bit of a different audience.
That's right.
Some people, myself included, I love the slower character development, get us to where we're going, because then when an episode like this happens, I'm like, that just made this moment so much better.
That's right.
I saw a lot of people saying, yeah, but we could have had this 1 through 4 episodes. Where was it? And I go, if we had it 1 through 4, this would just be another episode. Like, it wouldn't be as meaningful. The story, I feel like, wouldn't be as strong as or as impactful.
That's right.
If you're always just encountered. They teased us and intentionally showed Kenobi weaker in the moment with Vader. But just so that it could lead to these moments of growth and get to the point where he realizes, I need to grow, I need to become stronger, I really do need to protect Leia.
That's right.
These type of things, but that's just my opinion.
Somebody has to decide,
Some people may just want action 24/7, and that's fine, but
that's right.
It's just like you're saying, it's a matter of preference, and not every show is necessarily going to be catered towards that.
Right.
For instance, if you're a younger audience, maybe you didn't grow up with the prequels or the originals, but you grew up with the sequels and you love the sequels.
Right.
You might be watching this and be like, "Oh, that's cool," but it's I mean, it's cool, Vader, but we've got the whole thing's a Skywalker saga.
Right.
I want to know more. I want to know what goes beyond. Like, this isn't necessarily going to cater to that audience, probably, and that's okay.
See, I think the original Star Wars movies was Thriller. It's the Thriller record. It's Thriller. Everyone's a great song. Everyone's a hit. But, you know, maybe the TV show is Michael Jackson Dangerous, where you got a couple good songs on there. Not every track's a number one, right? Not every track is a number one. Some of them are better. Some of them aren't as good.
Yeah.
But overall, you say, oh, I like that record. Right?
Like a lot of the shows and I guess the sequels at this point, like all the, I don't know, but Star Wars content creators or just critics or just, you know, Twitter in general.
Yeah.
I feel like they feel like, yo, they wrote this for me personally and I didn't like it. I'm like, dude, it wasn't made for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's made for everybody.
That's right.
That's true.
You're
and try making something made for everybody.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that don't like it. There's
that.
going to be people that do like it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of them are just very like, dude, this was made for me and I don't like it. I'm a Star Wars fan. I am all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
dude. You're just not.
No, you're not, dude.
That's right. So maybe the flaw, we try to stay positive, and maybe the flaw is when you, instead of saying that's not my Luke, you say it never was your Luke. How about that? It never was yours.
You're right. You're right.
That's right. It's not yours. Actually, never was yours.
That's good. Speaking of Luke, we got Luke in the chat. Luke, welcome.
Yeah.
What up, Chad?
Was that too negative of a rant? We're trying to be positive.
That was. We're trying to help the. I guess the overall.
The problem was I was listening to "We Are the World" on the way over here. Throwback to the '80s.
Yeah.
It's got me in a positive vibe.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Preach it.
I like it. Spread positivity. I love it.
Sorry, Luke's got a.
We got Luke. Luke said, "I feel like this episode was huge for Vader's arc. We see in the flashbacks how overly aggressive he is in attacking. He even loses his limb because of it in Revenge of the Sith."
Yes,
it's true. I think in this episode, he has learned these lessons. That is why the fight between Kenobi and Vader in A New Hope is much more defensive and settled fight.
Ooh,
that's a good point.
I
didn't think
that.
about that.
Like
That's
that.
why they're more relaxed, more calm, because they've been there before.
That's right.
And we may even see more of this, Luke. We may see more of this to continue in the next episode if they do happen to have a rematch.
Yeah.
They do happen to have a rematch. We might see some more of that. You know, a little more skilled stuff. Not necessarily the. I never really was expecting Revenge of the Sith Mustafar battle. That's just not Vader anymore. He can't move like that. That's not. It's not his fighting style. Never has been. So, well, I guess it was before he became Vader. But I mean, since the suit,
right?
So I was never really expecting that sort of smooth fighting style, kind of like what we saw in the flashback.
Yep.
Wasn't expecting that from Vader. So we could see, if they do have a rematch in the finale, some of that Luke of what you're saying, more kind of settled, more strategic, maybe even seeing them visually focus and think more, and using some of the
Progress.
Force and a little more communication and talk between them as opposed to just what happened to you. You know, you did this to me or whatever he says, like all that. So I think you're onto something, Luke, and I think we'll continue to see some of that.
Absolutely. I think that's a great insight. Let me ask you a question. I mean, you guys are more on the Twitterverse and stuff than I am.
Yeah.
I hear it's on the internet. There's something called Twitter.
Tweeter.
Just
Tweeter.
kidding. I'm familiar. So here's the thing: are people talking about the fact that Kenobi's abilities seem to have increased quite a bit in this last episode? Because he's spending.
I've really just seen people freaking out about how good
They're
the
okay
episode
with
was. I haven't seen a ton.
Because my theory, it was not a matter of skill; it was a matter of confidence.
Yeah.
And as his
and I think
confidence
part of that started
is
in the
coming
last
back,
episode.
It's there.
Yeah.
He just isn't confident to do it.
Yeah.
Fending off,
And I think
laser
some of that
blasts
confidence
and-
comes with him giving up his lightsaber in this episode,
Yeah.
where he says there's other ways to fight. There's
Yeah.
other ways to do this. He's realizing I don't necessarily I need to channel that sort of Force ability and get, reconnect with it fully
Yep.
moving forward if I'm going to be able to connect with Reva, which it worked. It
Right.
worked out. And if ultimately he does want to try to convince Vader.
Right.
And
For the first time, he stepped up too and started leading.
yes,
This is
he
what we're going
did.
to do. This is
He
how you're
did.
feeling. It's understandable. This is what we're going to do.
Even with Leia.
Even
No,
with
I
Leia.
trust her.
Oh, that was a
I
great
trust her.
moment, princess.
Yeah.
Get her the ladder.
Man, how great was that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I loved that part.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the moment with Kenobi going to talk to Reva. I was talking about this earlier today, and I was thinking about it's interesting how, because this is something we've been thinking of, are we going to see Obi-Wan try to turn Vader at any point? The reason we say that is because, just to refresh, we've talked about this on the last couple weeks maybe, of the quote from the original trilogy where he says, Luke's like, there's still good in you, Father. I can
Right.
sense it.
Yeah.
And Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you did, which we've not seen yet.
Right.
Because obviously Revenge of the Sith ends with him not thinking that way.
Very clearly.
Slicing him out. So
It has to come out, I think.
So-
if it doesn't,
if they
if
if it doesn't,
I'm just
it
kidding.
better. Let's be as toxic as we can tonight.
Right.
No,
Morons.
but it makes
Morons. Yeah.
No, it made me think though. Reva, he says we want the same thing. When
Yeah.
he starts piecing things together, and her response is what? Really, Obi-Wan?
You want to
Do
kill
we?
him?
You want to kill Anakin?
Beautiful.
And he doesn't
He
respond.
doesn't.
He doesn't respond
Right.
because, I mean, it's like anybody, right? A parent and their son.
That's
You
what
got-
Luke said. I can't kill my own father.
Right. I can't kill my own
Everyone's
father.
still thinking I can't kill my own brother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's it. And no matter how bad someone turns, even in real life, this is very personal in terms of you have a black sheep in the family,
Right.
goes astray. You're not gonna just discourse that person, just disregard them. You're gonna always long for that relationship.
Just like Ahsoka's got the same.
Exactly.
Feeling.
Ahsoka in the moment,
More so.
fighting with
motivated.
Vader, even stops for a 2nd goes,
Mhm.
Anakin. And he's not
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that feels like Obi-Wan, no matter what, he's just gets to the point where he realizes I can't be the one to do it. Which is why he was okay teaming up with Reva, and why he's like, if you're able to do it, that's great.
I can't. Yeah.
We can do it together, and if I will
Right.
distract him, I'll bring him here so that you can do the job.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say, I'll bring him here for me to take him out.
Mhm.
He's like, no, I'll bring him here for you, so you can do it, because I don't think he has it in him. He's still holding.
I
out hope.
agree. I watched the first the first episode today again. I watched the new one. And I watched the first. I think the last thing in the flashback. I go back to the prequel flashback.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
last thing we hear is Padme, who says to Obi-Wan as she's dying, she says, "There's still good in him,"
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I think that's in there for a reason because that's part of the driving factor
Yep.
for his encounters. He doesn't.
100%.
I think you're right. I think we're gonna.
Exactly.
That's gonna come out.
I think so. And it made me, as I was thinking about this too, it made me think back to Mustafar when they're fighting. It kind of changed my view a little bit for a long time, I've heard people online, all this stuff say, I get why they did the fight the way they did and why he leaves him to where he ends up still being alive. He thinks he killed him.
Yeah.
But he ends up being alive, which was all a reason for George to be like, well, here's how he gets the suit.
Yeah.
And, something had to happen to him tragically where he's burnt. Or how else did he
Right.
look like that?
Right. Or
Right.
what does he need?
So he had
Right.
to write the story to get to that point. So he couldn't have Obi-Wan just finish him off. But because of that, there were a lot of people that are like, well, if you think about that, Obi-Wan's kind of brutal in that moment to just be like, I think you're going to die. You're burning alive. I'm just going to let you burn alive.
That's right.
Instead of just taking him out of his misery, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
It
So
doesn't
there's a lot
make
of people
him
that are like,
look
that
good.
is interesting for his character to not just put him out of his
It
misery.
puts him in an interesting place now.
Right. Now I
Yes.
look back at that and I think, is it possible that even in that moment he still was like, I can't do it.
Now you're helpless. I
You're
can't do it.
torturous. You're torturing. You're like right now you're burnt and stuff. But I'm just gonna walk away. And if he dies, he dies. But
Yeah.
I can't go finish him off. I can't
Yeah.
be the one. I don't know. I think it just made me think like
Maybe. I do think your first point is, I think it was a tactic for getting Vader in the suit.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and it left Obi-Wan in a bad place,
Yeah,
character-wise.
yeah.
Makes sense though. You could easily see him rationalizing like, I told him not to do it. He did it. I defended myself. He got
That's right.
chop, chop, and then
It's
Yeah.
one thing to fight him in a battle.
Yeah.
It's another thing to
and then
walk
I was
up
like,
there.
hey, you did you, and
Yeah.
Right.
I'm out,
Right.
and I can rationalize myself to be like, do it.
Yeah. So how did they
Yeah.
do? What was with the two ships? I know he did it on purpose. That was a
What's
total
funny if
surprise
you
to
go,
me.
it was a huge surprise
like
to me.
what?
Yeah.
How
I think
did
if you
they-
go back, they intentionally, if you see the shot because they're looking up at the ship
Yeah.
and it's pulling down. If you go back to the shot where the other one takes off, you can kind of see it there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, it just isn't there and then it is.
Yeah.
I think while the other one's going up, you can kind of see it, but it's
Yeah.
hard in the shot
Right.
because they're focusing on that. And obviously, in the moment you're watching this the first time
Yeah.
through, I'm just like, what the
What?
heck is happening?
Right.
Vader is a freak.
I mean, it was just episode 9.
yeah,
when
true.
Rey's pulling down the transport,
That's
True.
right.
and the first time you see that, you're like,
I know.
How can- right.
and then you watch the movie again, and very clear there's 2, and you see like one take off like in a background
Yeah,
shot,
true.
and then you realize like the layout of them. You're like, that
Yeah.
one should
Right.
be on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, no one catches that.
Exactly.
'Cause
No.
you're watching it, and you're like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What just happened?
yeah,
Yeah. I do think they were very intentional with how easy they made it look for him. Because we've seen this ability now a few times, and I made a TikTok actually earlier about some of the comparisons in this episode and what we've
Mhm.
seen in other Star Wars projects.
Yeah.
And one of that was the Force pull on the ship.
Mhm.
We got Rey who does it, which then turns into
Mhm.
But even when Rey's doing it, she has competition with Kylo as the ship's taking off, and you can still see the ship still like moving and
It's not
coming
quite
back
the
and
same.
forth. Like it's
Yeah.
not like it's shifting; it's still trying to go.
Yeah.
And then we see Ahsoka actually does it at the
Yep.
end of Clone Wars
Yep.
when Maul's getting away. She's like, "I can't let Maul get away,"
That's right.
but the ship is still proceeding to
They don't
move
have the- they
forward,
don't have
and
the same
it's actually
ability.
pulling her with it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Maul does the same thing, and we've even seen in The Force Unleashed, which I think is the first time I ever saw this, Starkiller in the video game Force Unleashed, where he's stopping a Star Destroyer, slowing it down, coming down to the
Mhm.
to whatever planet it was on. But the difference, I think, in this, they intentionally made it to show Vader that immediately it just stops, just like that. Now they do show his hand shake as he starts pulling it down,
it
but
down.
it didn't. I mean, it wasn't moving
It's not
forward
going
at all.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just stopped it immediately in its tracks, pulls it down,
Reversed it fully. Just
rips the metal
round.
out like it's nothing.
That was stunning.
I like how he grabbed like chunks of metal and used like
Just
you could
tore the whole thing
see it
over.
like
Yeah.
picturing in his hand like nope, and just throwing it away, and then grab another one, nope,
Amazing.
and just like
amazing. Yeah, It's
visually just
crazy.
So I would.
episode.
So one other moment when we talked. There's a lot of things in here. Of course, watching stormtroopers rush this cave and this battle was
Yeah.
spectacular.
Got some Purge troopers
Yeah,
from Fallen Order.
I saw it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were in there.
A couple of them.
But I think what maybe to me, there's been a lot of emotional moments. I think it's the most emotional moment for sure in any of the TV
Yeah.
episodes. When Tala's fallen there and the loader droid is protecting her.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets, man.
It
Emotion
is.
wise, it was.
I'd argue there's one that ties it.
spectacular.
I'd argue there's one moment that ties it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it tops it, but
Yeah.
I'd say it ties.
Yeah.
Ties.
Grogu and Mando.
yeah.
That's up
Grogu
there.
lifting the helmet.
That's-
I think that's
That's
up
up
there.
there. It's
But
up
no,
there.
you're right. I'm partly just joking.
Maybe part
but
of it was the surprise of the moment. Like what?
I agree with that.
Wow,
True.
Why does this feel like this? This is
True.
incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sacrifice herself and
It is something
It's really
about
crazy.
the like the not defenseless because the loader had a gun and was but the fact
droids feel like pets.
droid exactly.
It's like
That's
oh,
exactly what it is.
It's so
It's innocent. Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
like there's
Mhm.
a party that's like when it happens you're like no
And
anybody
they're not
kill a
supposed to.
real person, not
They're
the
not
droid.
supposed
Yeah.
to care.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to care. But then it turns
Yeah.
around. He puts his head down like
and then you just see it slowly start
in
like
that
turning
moment,
off.
you
You're like,
think
Yeah.
it does. It
it
it's felt
understands.
something the whole time, and now it's dying.
Yeah.
Why not?
And what was the
Yeah.
purpose of that character? What'd she say earlier?
They don't talk.
It shows
no.
by its actions.
shows
though.
by its actions. That's right.
Yep.
So, and it was
That's
ready
right.
to fight earlier, and now we
It
got
had
to see it
the-
fight.
Yeah, the wrench or
He's with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like
It
the,
was
the
spectacular.
there's a what is that called? It's like the dead puppy something or other. It's like a terrible name, but it's like in John Wick, they like show up and they like rob his house and then kill his dog because they're like bad guys.
And everybody's
Mm.
worried
And then
about
he
the
kills
dog.
like 85 people and everyone's like justified.
Kill
Yeah,
the
but
dog.
the dog.
Yeah, because he killed the dog. It's like you don't touch the dog. Dog was
That's
innocent.
right.
It's kind of like the same thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
it is.
the droid didn't. No, he didn't do anything.
He didn't
was
do
just-
Yeah,
it.
well, he killed a couple of them, but
Well, I mean, but it was defense.
no, you're right.
They're
You're right.
stormtroopers.
Yeah, it's kind of the.
Yeah,
It's very emotional. You're like,
yeah.
If they kill Lola, it's on though.
oh,
It's on. It's on. I'll be honest though. I had some fighting words for Lola when she turned for a second.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Probably the quickest turn to the light and dark side we've seen.
And it would notice it was red and blue.
I know.
Thought that was
Red
interesting.
and blue, and of course it's what is it? It's a restraining bolt.
A restraining bolt.
Oh, what a restraining bolt?
Hey, since when can you
Yeah.
just pull those off with your
It's
fingers
fine.
now?
Better. Yeah, right.
She's like, oh. I was like, oh.
Luke needed a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Lola's just so little. It was just
Right, just a little tiny
break it off.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Leia.
So-
Lola and Leia.
Lola and
Leia
Leia.
saving the day.
How many times has Leia saved Obi-Wan now?
Probably as many times as
Couple
Grogu has saved
times.
Mando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spectacular. I just love it.
Her
So
whole
great.
character
So
arc
great.
through the series is like top notch.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Because she started and I was like,
I think
it was-
she's
it was-
great.
It was. I was like, I guess taken aback. I was like, I don't know, maybe it was a little harsh, like a little like maybe overly obnoxious on purpose,
Yeah.
almost like
Showing her rebellious tendencies. yeah.
rebellious, but also non-exposure. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like ignorance to like
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
just
yeah.
the galaxy.
Yep.
Sure.
Just
sure.
like running away, it's not a big deal. And then she's like, oh, and then like slowly Israel's like,
There's more going
Okay,
on.
there's
here.
a
there
whole
is.
lot, and then just like
Yeah.
just tones it down
Yeah.
and just like gets it. And
She's naive and sharp at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the most fearless person on the show.
Mhm.
She's not afraid of anything.
That's what she's learned. That's what Obi-Wan is learning from
Yeah.
Leia.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think we talk about fear being, and I watched this again. We were watching episode or season 6, last episode of season 6 of Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about, and when talking to Yoda about the wills and the Force,
Yeah.
they say the dark side or fear, as we call it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
directly equate the dark side
with fear.
with fear. They say
Mm.
the dark side, or as we call it, fear.
Mm.
It just struck at me. Oh, that's so great. That's exactly what Obi-Wan is dealing with. So in a sense, Obi-Wan is being drawn with this fear thing. That's the path to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Obi-Wan overcoming his fear is actually preventing him. So by either pulling away, pulling back from the Force is way better than Anakin lean into the Force with fear,
Mm-hmm.
drew him to the dark side. Obi-Wan is pulled back. But fear they're connected by that.
Yeah.
Leia's not afraid.
Which is what we're seeing in Reva.
He's reteaching her, right?
She's clearly fearful of what happened and
That's right.
didn't even waited even till this point to even try to attempt anything on
Mhm.
Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Grand Inquisitor. So Reva kills him. They bring him back. He's
Kills.
known. Vader's known since they brought the Grand Inquisitor
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Because he's like, actually, she did it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's known since the first,
Is it the same episode where he's like, oh,
second, I guess.
second
The
episode?
second episode.
Is that when he's like choking her out and then she's like, I put a tracker? Or is that the fourth? That was
When
fourth, I
what?
guess. No, that was third episode. When was Vader choking out Reva
In the air?
in the air?
That was
She's like,
fourth episode.
that was fourth episode. And then she
Yeah.
stabbed Grand Inquisitor. Okay.
Yeah,
was trying to
second
think,
episode,
like,
she
Because
killed
I
him.
feel like Vader knew when he
Before
was
all
choking her out.
that.
Why did you just let her go? She's like, I put a tracker. He's like, what? And just dropped. I'm like,
yeah.
You choke people out all the time. You're a
Mhm.
bad guy. You don't just like let go.
He's still using her. They
Yeah.
were Still part
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
there was still
Mhm.
purpose. That's
Yeah.
why now he says
Mhm.
you're no longer
You're
needed.
no longer no use to us. Or
You're no-
further
yeah.
use.
Is it
no further
possible?
use, yeah.
Let me ask you something. We've talked about Anakin, Obi-Wan not feeling comfortable killing Anakin, Vader.
Yeah.
Is it possible there's a part of Anakin who would really have trouble actually killing Obi-Wan?
I think so.
And Reva was a great, because he could have used Reva to do that,
Yeah.
or the Grand Inquisitor to do that, or anybody to do that, and him not torture him. Yes,
I mean, he could have killed him
But
already
he
in
could
episode
have.
3.
Yeah,
he
like
could
12
have.
Instead, he
times.
tortured him because he does want him to suffer.
Is it
Mhm.
possible that there's part of him that says that still doesn't want to kill Obi-Wan?
I mean, it's
Pretty
easy
for
to
him in the
say. I
original
think
trilogy.
I think because we know there's still good in him ultimately, even though
Mhm.
nobody else senses it but Luke really.
Right.
Even though we know that ultimately there is still good in him, I like
Mhm.
to think, yeah, maybe there's a part of him that would have a hard time killing Obi-Wan.
Like in the battle with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I mean, it could
Yeah.
have just could have done then too. Could have.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it's actually, I mean, I don't know.
The dark side
Because
is
if you were to ask me about Revenge of the Sith, I'd say no, not at all. He wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is there a part of him now that?
it's different when you have complete control and you can just crush somebody.
Yeah.
In that moment, you think, I don't. There's a lot of memories there.
He definitely likes the challenge. We kind of
Mhm.
talked about
Yeah.
this in the past too, of like if they have like part of the reason why maybe he quote unquote let Obi-Wan get away, or at
Mhm.
least suffer, but kind of just watched him across the fire and then was just like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Because he's like, that's not Obi-Wan. That's not the guy I fought on Mustafar.
Yeah.
I want a challenge. I want to
Mhm.
show you that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to that's not, beating you now is not going to satisfy me
Mm-hmm.
when you're just helpless.
Right.
Because he was obviously weaker in the Force.
Kobe wants
And-
MJ at his best.
Exactly.
He doesn't want-
exactly.
Through Reva the
And
saber.
that's what I was going towards.
He's just like,
Through
I'm not just
Reva the
gonna-
saber, he's like, this is too
Yeah.
easy. Let's go.
Right.
I thought he's
Mhm.
gonna, both lightsabers.
Yeah, you
Count
want me to
Dooku,
use?
And
you
I
want
was
me-
like, nah.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Throws her the saber. Is like, all right, let's
Yeah.
do it. You want to use a saber? I'll use a saber
Okay.
too.
I'll
But
use a
let's
saber.
go.
So uncivilized.
I think so.
uncivilized.
Because of that, I think we're seeing a little bit more of he wants a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody is a challenge.
How are we going to get? Are we going to be satisfied with Vader letting Obi-Wan go because he's not up to the challenge at the end of this?
At the end of this,
Are we going to be okay with that?
I'm telling you,
I mean, we generally go. That's what the story is. That's it. Are we going to be able to swallow that? Okay, or is it going to be like
I
I
just-
don't know.
I don't know if I would like that as much. I mean, I'm sure it's hard to say. I
Because
don't
your
know.
theory was he's going to think he's dead.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That would make
And there's
sense.
a part of me that still is like, logically, I mean, they've probably thought a lot deeper about this show than I have so far.
Yeah.
But to me, that was one of the first things that came to mind of like, how could they make sense of him being able to go on and live on Tatooine and watch over Luke
Mm-hmm.
without Vader without ever dying, and
Yeah.
Vader ever coming after him, and with the rest of the Inquisitors pretty much going extinct, dying off or whatever
Mhm.
at some point.
Yep.
So how does all that happen and him not be discovered or killed or tracked down? And I thought, well, maybe he, just like Obi-Wan before, thought Vader was dead. Vader now thinks Obi-Wan's dead at some point. That's how it ends in this series. They have their battle. He leaves them. Maybe there's an explosion or something, and he's left thinking that he's dead. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's a possibility. I think
makes a lot of sense.
Could make sense, yeah. Is there a part? But you made me think when you were saying that. Is there any chance at all that they have an encounter to where I want to Vader obviously wins the battle, but is satisfied to a point of where there's like a mutual, not that like, oh, we're made up, you go,
yo,
you're good, but there's a part of him,
I'll see you
there's
later.
a part of him, yeah, not like that, but like there's a part of him that's like, I could go after you, but I kind of respect that you were able to put up a fight.
Game
and it was just like,
game.
yeah, kind of. Do you think there's any possibility of that at all?
I don't know. There's a lot of hate in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
just trying to think of logical ways on
I'm
how
still tracking
Obi-Wan
with
sticks
your.
around.
I'm still tracking
Yeah.
with your theory that he thinks he's dead,
Yeah.
or it could be that it never actually ends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if he's on a ship to?
Yeah.
I'm guessing Alderaan at this point.
Mhm.
That's true.
The
Vader's
hunt
still
continues.
on Jabeam.
Well, that's true. I
Like,
mean, we
Tracker's gone.
Mm-hmm.
if
maybe
it's
he's
true,
just
we
like-
get another season. Who knows?
He disappears. Doesn't know where he went. Or
Although
he's
I
continually
guess
hunting him.
it ended with our hyperdrive's out and they're behind us. So
Exactly.
That's true.
This gave me very Last Jedi vibes.
Yeah.
The way it ended with
We're setting that up.
transport. It's like,
Tracking
they're
them.
tracking us. We can't get away.
Yeah.
mm.
What's our ploy now?
Yep.
And in Last Jedi, it was send the transports down or whatever,
I got
the
a
thing
simple
down,
answer.
and we'll
The Roken maneuver.
the
Roken maneuver. He did it first.
He did it first.
He did it first.
He did it first.
You did that yourself.
The Roken
Holdo.
maneuver.
You've done that yourself.
Holdo shot-
Holdo.
What if we pull another Holdo maneuver? That was 1 in a million.
Was 1 in a million.
What is he
What's he
proposing?
proposing? Did you
Man, the
This is
Roken
Holdo
maneuver.
maneuver.
Did you see the short? It was like canonically accurate Holdo maneuver. Just bounces off a shield, and then they just keep going.
And
They
then that's
shoot all
it,
the
and they kill 'em.
transports.
Just bounce off the shield, defense shield. That's hilarious.
That's good.
It's pretty
Man.
funny.
Laura Dern's.
That's good.
Darn it. Man,
Should have thought this through.
What happened?
Thought this through.
I mean, wrapping up the idea that Obi-Wan and Anakin have an encounter where Obi-Wan is left surviving and watching after Luke, not just surviving and on the run, but watch enough to feel comfortable on Tatooine and not be hunted down, which maybe he's not, but let's assume he is, because by A New Hope, that's kind of the vibe we get.
Yeah.
Where he's watching over Luke and returning Leia to Alderaan. That's a lot, I feel like, to happen in one episode, especially if
Yeah.
these episodes are 30,
Let
40
me
minutes.
throw out a proposal for you.
What is
What
he
is
proposing?
he proposing?
What if, and I mentioned this in one of the other casts, Joe, I think you kind of hinted at this. We don't have to get the ending in the next one, right?
We don't.
Something's still going on. But what if the hunt never actually ended? We know the Inquisitors go away for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We know Vader's off helping Death Star and all these other things. What if the hunt continues and Obi-Wan doesn't actually...
You just gave me an
He's
idea.
not always living on Tatooine. He's always going off and doing things, coming back.
Yeah.
He's checking on Leia. He's coming back. He's over here. He's coming back. And so when Leia sends the message to him, this is not the last encounter that he has with Leia in this. They have other
Yeah.
encounters, and he does other things because he's now back. He's clearly back in. His main mission is watching over Luke, but he's always going places. And when Luke reaches a certain age, things begin to progress. He realizes, I need to be closer, and he's constantly checking back on Tatooine. So when we pick him up in episode 4, he has actually just come back to Tatooine.
Mm.
And he happens to be there when he has this encounter with R2 and all that stuff in
Yeah.
the desert. But he
Good.
actually doesn't.
But how much of it? So I
He
guess
doesn't
when he's
live there all the time.
within his time bouncing back around, Luke obviously meets him at some point because he's like, "Oh, old
Yeah.
Ben."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They know who he is.
Or he just goes to Tatooine and Vader's like, I'm going back there.
See, you made me
Yeah.
think when you were saying that they intentionally showed Reva looking towards the hologram of
She's
like
getting the clues.
Tatooine,
Some-
Owen.
Boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder if they're showing that to then show that that message gets destroyed, which is why he's able to live on Tatooine and not be hunted down because they don't know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're showing, here's a message. Oh, he almost got it. Boom, it's destroyed. Vader doesn't get it, which
Yep.
now allows you to think, oh, well, that's why he's able to live on Tatooine and not get hunted down.
Mm-hmm.
Because the message that he could have had is now gone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
she's-
what they're setting up with this.
Maybe.
Time to go.
Maybe.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What,
She
what
can't
are the
stand it.
chances Reva survives
She's living
this series?
100p. She's alive.
No, I think she's alive currently.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm saying throughout the finale, throughout next episode,
Oh yeah, I think she's gonna go.
she's gonna
I think
go.
She's gonna go.
She's
Bye
gonna
bye. Yeah.
bite the dust.
Sleep.
I think I would say
It depends if there's
Right.
another
Another
season or
season
not.
two. Yeah.
right. Here's my thought. Right.
I mean,
If they were gonna kill her, wouldn't this have been
That's
the
what I thought.
easy way to do it? Like Vader would kill her and that'd be it. But they didn't. I really think now that I understand Reva's goals and her motivation, she realizes now I can't kill him by myself. I can't do it.
Yeah.
This was the perfect plan. I'm outed. I can't go back. The only place that I can go is to connect back up with Obi-Wan. That's my only chance of ever killing him. I'll
What if
never
she-
get him on
yeah.
my own. I think she's gonna have a turnaround.
You think so?
I do now.
See, I
Dude,
was
Before I didn't
wondering.
think so. To
I-
come back
so-
to the light. Mhm.
Oh, so maybe
Because
she
that's her
sees
best
she
chance
sees the
to get
message
him.
and she's like, "Here it is to a bunch of kids. He'd do it to his own kids, and I can't let that happen." So then she like protects the message.
She has
or
a
something.
reason.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe you're right.
I don't
See,
know.
it's funny
because
when that happened, my immediate thought was, is she gonna use this as leverage now to hate Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan was in on this plan and it ultimately just ruined her,
ruined her. Yeah.
and now she's gonna hate Obi-Wan too? Because like that was my kind of first thought, and I was like, this could really go both ways. She could be like, well, there's no turning back and going to Vader now. He just destroyed me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I show up now, I mean, I'm definitely dead. But at the same time, is there any chance that she also hates Obi-Wan because he's the one that told her, do this, he'll be focused on me, and then she goes in and does this and gets destroyed?
Well, he did deliver the opportunity.
He did.
She just couldn't seize it.
True. But the fact that
She walked up
he
behind
made
her,
her
like,
believe
"Yeah,
that
oh
he-
no,
I guess I get
it was his idea and it didn't work.
his idea, and the fact that he made her believe that he would be distracted, and
Yep.
he wasn't.
Yep.
He saw it coming the whole time.
Mhm.
So, is there a part of her that's like, man, and Obi-Wan wasn't even here? Like, my first thought was, oh, if they're going to do this, Obi-Wan will be there with the fight, and she'll do it. But she went in blind by herself.
Is it possible that Reva is the explanation for who gets rid of all the Inquisitors?
Oh, I like it.
She hunts them down?
She
Why
hunts
couldn't
him
she
down.
become the Inquisitor hunter?
That'd
They
be
work
sick.
together.
I think
New
she's teaming. I
series.
think she.
Still
I
on
think
the
she's.
outside.
I think she's
not on the
teaming up
inside
with
anymore.
Maul, and this is leading to season 2. Crypt's
Ooh,
done.
Maul. That would be
Or-
awesome.
I guess this will be a little dark, but what if she's like, I could use Vader's kids as leverage to like bring him down or something, like hold him hostage or
Oh.
something. Just goes like real mean.
Oh, like that's what I'm saying.
she's like,
she
he's
could
got
easily be like,
kids?
oh, I can't get
I
Vader.
can bring him back and be like, you want your kids to live?
Yeah, or like I
Yeah.
can't get Vader. I'll get the next best thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make him hurt by taking out.
Tell him that he's
Luke.
got twins, and then just
Mhm.
So now the
She ends
real
up going to
the real
Tatooine.
threat to Tatooine isn't Vader. It's Reva going to take
Reva.
him out.
Yeah.
Mhm. How's she going to survive first? That's the first question.
rage.
Somehow Reva survived.
It's good
Hey,
to
they
see how
said
that works.
that rage is what kept the Grand Inquisitor alive,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. Or, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his line
We got
about
someone in chat.
rage?
Octus, I
Anakin.
think I'm saying that right. Said, well,
Anakin.
she already kind of hates him. She does kind of hate him
She does kinda hate
because
Yeah.
she blamed him for why weren't you there. That's true.
Right.
Why weren't you? Where were you? He's your Padawan.
Yep.
That was on
I
Utapau.
love that whole conversation, by the way.
Yeah, that was good.
So emotional, but it also shows Obi-Wan. You're like, where were you? My first thought was he was fighting him,
Yeah,
but I guess
well,
that was later.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I was on Utapau.
I tried.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
tried.
I was
Fighting Grievous.
getting shot.
It's almost
by,
like the enemy of
I
my
was getting
enemy,
shot by
right?
Cody.
Cody.
Cody was taking me down,
Yeah.
taking out my lizard.
It feels like the enemy of my enemy. That's kind of
Yeah,
I agree.
it is.
feels what maybe
I agree.
possibly.
There's a mutual enemy, so we'll team up. For
and now
this
she's on
moment.
the outside. She can't get back in with Vader. It's
Mm-mm.
over.
She can't. She can't.
So
So I'm wondering what her next approach is going to be. I mean, I was thinking about this. pretty soft of Qui-Gon to go out with just a saber to the stomach now.
Nobody dies like
Everybody
Yeah.
else is just walking it off.
that. He's not. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
We never
that's
saw
why.
him.
That's why
Not a
Obi-Wan
Force
can't reach
ghost,
him.
it's
He
just
and Mace
makeup.
are just living it up right
He
now.
and Mace are living up on Paradise,
They're-
singing,
Oh,
"Why
they're-
not join the order
They're on Canto Bite, just
out in the Outer Rim?" Yeah, they're
Just-
gambling away.
gambling away.
Arm wrestling. Mace is killing with his robotic hand. Thumb wrestling.
Thumb wrestling.
I'm not wrestling you again.
Qui-Gon and Fennec are showing off their metal bellies.
Come on, Qui-Gon. Come
Yeah,
on,
that is-
man. They can get me this time.
That's pretty weak.
But seriously, I thought I was
Everyone's
joking.
getting stabbed nowadays.
Right.
Nothing.
Right, I
Walk
was
it off.
joking about it, but I tweeted. I was like,
I used to think.
I'm really starting to wonder how
Qui-Gon was
Qui-Gon
awesome.
died.
Mhm.
How did he die from just a weak saber to the stomach?
Come
I mean,
on.
come on.
It's Cotter.
In the same scene, Maul's getting chopped in half.
Maul got chopped in
He
half. to
crawls
live.
away with spider legs.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon's gonna go out to a one blade to the
Come
stomach.
on.
Come on.
Come on.
He twisted it though. That was the thing.
It was a
that's
true
true.
like shank and
True.
He got him right up in
That's
the.
the only moment we see blood.
It was prequel. They didn't have that tech yet. That's it.
Yeah.
Hmm?
We
That's
should
true.
do an episode
Did
on.
they?
On
Did they?
Maul crawled away.
He did
The
crawl
healing
away.
tech?
They must have. I guess.
Healing?
Healing? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I
I-
think he
I
was
was
saying
just-
the
I was
mechanic.
just
He was
Oh, the
joking.
mechanic.
Just kidding.
I was
I'm
like,
just kidding.
what's up?
The mods weren't around yet.
They weren't.
That's
That's,
what
what
it
it
was.
is.
The mods weren't around yet.
Back
The young
back
hipster
to-
mods weren't around to fix Qui-Gon.
We should do an episode on the worst deaths in Star Wars.
Zero the Hut.
Just
Just a quick little.
Qui-Gon gets
That's a bad
gets
one.
a bloody nose and then a one
was
right
it.
to the. Although their battle was pretty good, so I
Oh, it
wouldn't
was
say that
intense.
yeah.
He was tired. He gave up.
Granted, way more realistic to die to get stabbed in the chest with a saber than not. I'll
Yeah.
give him that.
Yeah,
But either way, it's okay.
yeah. He's probably Liam Neeson's probably watching this like, what the heck?
How could I be dead?
Why am I,
I should
dead?
not be dead.
Bring me back. You're
Should be
bringing
alive.
everybody else back.
They're getting pretty close, you know. Pretty
Somehow Qui-Gon's returned.
Somehow.
Pretty soon
Qui-Gon's
we'll get Django back. Yeah, they just sewed that back.
Yeah,
on.
they
man,
sewed
his
that
head
back
wasn't
on.
in there.
It was a clean cut. His
It's
head-
one of those things.
They don't even. Yeah,
he never had a
Come out
head.
now.
he turtle shelled it.
It's awesome.
He
Follow.
turtle shelled it.
I'm
Oh,
fine.
man. Yeah, I'm just curious what.
How are they going to do it? How are they
I
going
mean,
to
all
get
right, let's
Vader
let's
to
do it.
leave
Let's
him
dive
alone?
into some predictions, I guess, for next.
Predictions for next
And we
one.
like to
So
speculate
let me ask-
responsibly.
Can I get
right?
some yes or no's real quick?
Mm.
Leia
No.
in the next episode playing as large a part as she did in this one, or she going to save the day again?
Don't think. I think she'll be. No, she won't save the
Won't
day.
save the day.
I think it'll be an Obi-Wan thing.
Okay.
It'll be
I don't
focused
think a
on
day saver. Yeah.
Obi-Wan, Vader, Saber fight again.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
they'll
you
have
think
I
so?
think
Yeah.
they'll have the rematch, quote unquote rematch of the century. That Kathleen Kennedy said, but
Reva not come back in the next episode. That's a cliffhanger that we don't get an answer to.
you think so?
I think it could be.
It's not going to get addressed.
Why not? We let the Grand Inquisitor stay dead.
So if that doesn't get addressed, I for sure think we're getting a season 2.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
We have two.
We have two,
Two.
3,
All right,
4,
watch.
two.
If they don't
We have-
make a season
we
2,
have
I'm not
9.
watching it.
We
Don't make a season 2. I'm not
watching it.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite country song line. If the phone still ain't ringing, I'll assume it still ain't you. Let that one sink in. Love that line. So if they don't make season 2, I'm boycotting season 2.
Yeah.
I said it here first, everybody.
If they make it, I will no longer
If they make it, I'll go ahead and watch it. If they don't make it, I promise you, if they don't make season 2, I'm not watching it.
No.
I don't care.
I love it.
I'm crazy like that.
I'm
built
crazy.
different.
I love it.
Just
I
keeping
love
it
it.
real. And not my Kathy. No, I'm just kidding. I'll watch it, even if they don't make it.
No,
I'll make it myself.
That's a
Fine.
fan right there. I'm watching
I'll
it.
do
Even
it
if they don't
myself.
make it, I'm in.
I'm a real fan.
I'm a real fan.
fan.
I won't even watch 3 if they make it. No, okay. So I
That's so
wondered if they
great.
might just leave. If they're going to make another season and they just leave Reva.
That's true. Yeah, I
in the
wonder what they're
limbo.
doing with that because what were all the questions people kind of had some issues with or like, oh, well, how did this
Yeah,
happen?
yeah. That's
It
I'm
was-
interested in these.
One of them was, well, how does Reva know Anakin is Vader? Because no one else is supposed to know this. It's supposed to be real secretive, which we all kind of speculated, she
was there.
probably there.
Right.
Yeah.
Which they confirmed she was there.
Saw him
so that
face
was
to
answered.
face.
That
Yeah.
was answered. Grand Inquisitor, we all expected to come back. I hope we all expected that, kind of, considering
We
we
know
see him
that he's
alive later on.
Yeah. Clone.
Came back.
he's a clone.
Clone.
He's a clone.
Him and Leia.
Him and Leia.
They're playing clone.
So he
poker.
came back. Are there any other big questions? I guess people had some concerns about, other than people really wanting the
before
flashbacks.
this?
Yeah. Other than
Um,
people really wanting the flashbacks, which we got that too.
big question for me: is Flea actually dead?
Who?
Is Flea actually
Flea, the villain
You
from
mean
episode.
Needles?
Yeah, right. Needles.
Needles.
From the first one, is he actually dead or the second
Needles.
one? Nah, I think he's probably dead.
Flea. Whatever happened with Freck? Is he gonna get his own spinoff?
Oh man,
Did he run away? I thought he got shot.
Nice to have some like-minded folk.
he did. He,
did
knocked
get
him
shot.
out. I
Or
think
no, he got knocked out.
He knocked him
Oh,
out.
okay.
He
So,
knocked
yeah.
him out.
He'll get a spinoff.
Frex.
Then he burrowed
Frex
his way
transport.
underground
I
and went
I
away.
want a Freck and Dax spinoff.
Oh man,
Freck and Dex. That sounds like an ice cream shop.
That sounds like a podcast. Freck and
those
Dax
two
are a
crazy
podcast.
cats in the Star Wars galaxy. Freck and Dax. Freck and Dax.
Freck and
Frex,
Dax
how
are
we
a
gonna-
podcast.
One
I don't know, Freck.
saber darts.
Look like one of them clones.
No.
That's a strange story. Yeah.
Want some Java, Jen?
Yeah.
Freck, you want some Java?
Featuring the diner droid.
Man.
Yeah.
Freck and Dax. The
Freck
Freck
and
and
Dax.
Dax comedy
Freck
hour.
and Dax.
Featuring.
Freck and Dex.
Man, he was a funny character though. Who was the?
He was great.
Is that a celebrity voice? Who
It
did-
was.
Who was it?
It was. What's his name? From Scrubs.
Oh, who?
JD,
Okay.
the white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Turk. Not Turk. The white. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was trying to remember. I don't remember what's the actor's name. I'm drawing a blank. I was looking this up like 2 days ago too. Don't.
Is he the one that's married to Kristen Bell?
No.
No, who's that
They
guy?
do look similar.
Yeah.
Though.
Okay.
They do look similar.
Yeah. He's a
Um,
good character. He's a funny character.
Yeah, he was great. He's great. Yeah, I'm curious. So, one thing I noticed too with this episode, no fifth brother.
Yeah.
No fifth brother showing up.
Mm-mm.
He
Where'd
kind
he
of took a
go?
little bit of a back seat. It seemed like at the beginning of the series, it was him and Reva really going at it, like who's going to be the next Grand Inquisitor. And then he saw the opportunity. Vader comes in and chokes her. He's like, "Yeah, this is my moment."
Mhm.
And then she says, "I let them go."
Yeah.
Now she's back. Your Grand Inquisitor, which we all know is kind of a
Mhm.
ploy to out her.
Keep your friends close and your enemies
Yeah.
closer.
But I wonder what Fifth Brother's up to. If he and the Grand Inquisitor were just in on it together all along.
Yeah,
Taking
I don't
bets.
know if he's in.
I feel like
but
he's
they
out.
didn't.
Figure that out.
They didn't fill him in on it. He's
No.
just a.
It makes me
pawn.
wonder though how not loyal, but how much Vader and the Grand Inquisitor, how their connection.
How buddy are they?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For them to be in on that
They
deal
seemed
like
a little
that.
buddy in this episode.
They are right
not.
now, but at some
Yeah.
point.
You
Some
are
point.
the least of us. Man,
What a casual roast.
I know.
And then just kind
It's
of.
almost as bad as Youngling.
You know what?
That's such a
Are they
That's a
building
deep
pity
cut.
for Reva? I don't know.
little
we'll,
bit.
We'll leave you where we found you in the gutter. Bye.
In the
They've
gutter.
definitely humanized her more
It
so.
did. It's interesting though, because there's more to her story.
Right.
Because we find out she got stabbed in that moment too, which I guess she survived that.
Yeah.
So surviving a saber to the stomach
She's
is
strong.
nothing for her,
She's strong.
Yeah.
and that hole was probably still there. It just went right through in this episode.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, but she survived by faking her death. But at some point, so she made it sound like she survived by faking her death, as in they didn't realize she survived, so they got away. But then decided at some point to go back and work for them to try and get close to Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at what point did she do? I mean, obviously we don't know, but at what point did she do that? When did she go back? And is that what they're referring to when the Grand Inquisitor says we like in the gutter, where we found you? Because it made
Mhm.
me think we didn't find her when she got stabbed as a youngling, because
That's
that's not
right.
when she joined them.
No.
It was
Yeah.
wherever she was later
She
that
continued her
whenever she
training
joined them.
and made her way back to where she set herself up to be found and
To
join
be
them.
Yeah.
found, exactly. I think so too.
Mm.
So that's why her getting bashed, if you're the least of us, I don't think the Grand Inquisitor necessarily knows that maybe she's a youngling. Vader
No.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all those
He
roasts
does.
that throw at her, she's just. It's not even true because it's not like I did it on purpose, so it doesn't like mean anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sure, that's what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had asked me after 4, does Reva turn to the light side? I would say no way. If you would ask me now, I would say that may fit with how the Inquisitors get wiped out, because there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have another has another ally that has a common enemy.
Yeah.
Um,
And the Jedi,
Could
we
you
know, aren't
see-
ones to just go seek out and just hunt them down.
could you see?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Right.
she would.
Oh,
She would.
She's ruthless enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you envision on the next episode that they actually catch up to Kenobi, and it's the Grand Inquisitor. Vader is back there, and the fifth brother, and Obi-Wan, and they're coming at him, and coming to his aid
Is Reva.
is Reva.
I
And
was
they,
thinking
they
about that,
fight
yeah.
just like Kylo and Rey,
Mm.
fighting side by side against a common enemy. They're not connected, but they are fighting side by side. And she wants to get to Vader, and he's fighting for his
Wow,
life.
I didn't even think of the possibility of having a saber fight with multiple people like that.
Be dope.
That'd be cool.
Because it wouldn't have made sense if that happened in the second. He's not ready.
No.
No.
Now I think if it happened, we feel like, well, yeah, last episode he was just
And the
fending
episode
off.
before that, he's forcing water, and they showed his
Mhm.
ability starting to come back.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. It would
I
be
don't-
interesting.
Do we get Qui-Gon at this point?
Mm.
Oh, that was the whole beginning.
Yeah.
No. That was the.
With one episode left, do you think
I
that
could-
we get Qui-Gon?
I could see it being like moment of desperation. He's like, Master, and then I will find you.
He finds
Wrong movie.
something happens that allows him to find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. There
What
may be
was-
something that breaks through, helps him
In-
break through.
In the end of Clone Wars, because Yoda did the whole training to commune,
Yeah.
yeah.
and the end was him confronting what he was afraid of most, which was like his dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if Obi-Wan confronts what he fears the most, and that's what like unlocks
Oh man.
the Qui-Gon connection.
Right. Wow, that would be
Could see
cool.
that.
What is it? What does Obi-Wan fear the most?
At this point,
I mean,
at
what
this
is it?
point, I think losing Leia.
Leia.
Probably. Yeah, but like, could it be that
Does
right
he
there?
fear
No, because
losing
when-
Leia more, or them finding out about who she is?
Oh
what's
man.
More,
Yeah.
What's more terrifying?
Well, but he's been
Mhm.
practicing for 10 years. What has he been afraid of for the previous? So it wouldn't be like, oh yeah, he was afraid of Leia. He didn't even. That wasn't really on the radar,
Yeah.
8 years
Mhm.
ago when he started training.
That's right.
Maybe he's afraid of Luke or something, or he's something with Anakin
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
Yeah, it's just interesting where we left off and them saying they're leaning over and they've got us. They're their tractor beam or whatever. They've
Uh-huh.
got us where we can't go nowhere, and
Right.
just makes me think. I don't know. I start wondering if Qui-Gon will show up or not, and if so, when would that moment be? Because right now it seems like we're right in the middle of the attack. They're on.
I
to
just
him.
had a crazy
So
thought.
how is it I don't see time right now unless something happens as soon as this episode starts and then Obi-Wan gets away and they get back to Alderaan and then he connects with Qui-Gon
God.
and then he seeks out Vader again to have their final
I think
encounter.
it's like desperation.
But if it's like
mid-fight,
I just had an insane thought, and I don't think I've ever thought about this before.
I don't think I have either and I
Maybe
want to
same.
hear
What?
it.
Yeah, honestly.
We keep talking about Qui-Gon connecting with Obi-Wan. Why
What if he
couldn't Qui-Gon
Connect with
Vader?
Anakin.
Because that was the only
He learns Force ability at some time.
He's dark side.
through
He's been
Through-
talking with Qui-Gon all along.
through Obi-Wan. If there's
Yeah.
some way, because that's the
He
only
shows
father
up,
he's ever known.
They're in the middle of
Yeah.
they're
It's
in the
the
middle of
only
fighting
father he's
Obi-Wan
ever
or
known.
Qui-Gon shows up, puts his Force ghost hands on both shoulders and says, "Come on,
But
children.
just
Come
imagine
on,
if he
boys.
heard,
Just
just
shake it
imagine if
off."
he heard that voice that he hasn't heard since he was
Anakin, drop.
8 years old.
Oh, yeah.
He died, and we never got
Anakin,
to.
drop-
He never got to grieve that. We never saw that. And that
What would
Man.
Qui-Gon's reaction be to?
So we got all the wills of the Force, all the stuff about Force ghosts and the dark side, all that stuff aside. What if there is a way that Anakin hears the voice of the only father he ever knew?
Well, think about it. That
Qui-Gon Jinn.
hearing that voice, I feel like doesn't come from you channeling it. It's the Force Ghost doing it.
Right.
Because Luke was like, Obi-Wan, old Ben,
Right.
where are you coming from? So it was like he didn't.
I'm not old enough. I'm here.
Yeah.
Tell him I can do
Tell
it.
him, Ben. Tell him, Ben, I can do it. Oh,
Tell him.
hits his head.
Smacks,
I'm not afraid. You will
Yeah.
be. Wait, what does that mean? You're supposed to not be afraid.
Yeah.
If there's any canon issues, Yoda being excited about Luke's fear is
Yeah.
maybe the one most troubling.
Yeah.
But
So what were you going to say about the voice? You could hear the voice, right? He could hear
yeah,
it.
you could hear it. Like, it wouldn't be Anakin having to reach out to him. It
Right.
would be Qui-Gon's choice of reaching out, right?
Right.
I mean, you can reach out. Like, we see Obi-Wan trying to reach out to Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
But we also know you don't have to be it doesn't have to be the one who's alive to reach out.
Right.
Luke and Leia appear to Rey at the end of,
They
she just looks over. Obi-Wan appears to, so they are the ones a lot of times being the ones seeking that out. So there's no reason, I don't see a reason why he couldn't appear.
because we always think about the powerful connection between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, but
Qui-Gon was the one that
Anakin to
really
Qui-Gon.
believed in Anakin.
Anakin to Qui-Gon, from Obi-Wan, from Qui-Gon's or Anakin's perspective, it would be like,
Yeah.
man, he would be ashamed. It would be like shame and
Yeah.
anger because he would be mad at him for leaving him. That's what a kid's reaction would be. Why did you leave me?
Yeah.
Not, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think you're
That'd be
right.
pretty cool. Who knows?
It's like Reva. Reva was, where were you?
yeah,
Yeah.
Where were you?
that's a child's reaction to that. Could be.
Emotional, yep. We got some stuff in chat here.
Chad.
Let's see.
Is it about mayonnaise?
We got about mayonnaise.
Chad.
We got
Miracle
it
Whip.
seems like
Dial
Reva
in,
is
man.
just sad, traumatized child who just obviously hates Anakin. The look on her face, example, the look on her face before she was impaled. That's true. She really is just out to
Right.
get revenge,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the Jedi way.
It's not.
Revenge is not. the
I
Jedi.
shouldn't. Yeah.
But I
and,
shouldn't.
And Obi-Wan was just the pathway. He
Yeah.
was the pathway to. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we got some good stuff from Curry. The first one, I like this one. This is a great comment. How does Wicket get around Endor?
It's a
Ewoks.
great. Oh, I love
It's
it.
a good cast
I love
That's a
it.
good one. Mic
That's
drop. We'll
great.
see you guys next week.
I was gonna say very slowly, but
you got. Very
Ewoks is even better.
He
swings.
He swings.
swings.
That's really good.
That's great. That's great.
Did we open it up for jokes? Because if we didn't, we should have done that a long
We
time
should
ago.
have. By the way, chat is always open for jokes. So
Absolutely.
keep them coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. Curry also with Qui-Gon can't connect with Anakin because Vader is in the dark side. Yeah, I don't know if
Has
that.
there ever been a connection between?
I don't know if we've seen a connection like that before.
We haven't. Not that I'm aware.
But I
of.
don't know if someone being on the dark side limits the Force Ghost's power of
From
their
appearing.
ability
From appearing.
to connect,
Mhm.
to appear. Like if he appeared to Obi-Wan, is he only visible by Obi-Wan?
We've just never
How
seen
does it
it.
work? Yeah, we just haven't really
Never
seen
seen it.
We don't know. We're just speculating. We're just coming.
If
Who knows?
light can talk to dark, then I feel like
I mean, Rey saw
If-
all the Sith spirit things around Palpatine.
That's right.
Didn't see their face and stuff, but all
yeah.
their spirits.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying? Sorry.
They were
No,
there.
you're good. I was just say when Kylo was like, "Help me, grandfather," like why
Yeah.
couldn't light side Anakin then be like, "Nah, dude, chill." Like as a warning, then
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
light could like cut across to the dark,
You
like a
mean
light
to
side
Kylo?
ghost. Yeah, to
To Kylo.
Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered
Because
that.
he was like
actually.
trying to reach him, so surely Anakin knew.
"Forgive
He-
me,
Forgive me,
grandfather."
father.
What could you offer me?
More.
Force Ghost.
More.
No, that's a good point. Maybe they can't. We haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which was probably a reason for them not being able to, if we haven't seen it. But we don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. Force ghosts are only for the light. That's true. Force ghosts are only for the light side. So
Yeah.
Sith can't become Force ghosts. I don't know if that necessarily means that a
Force
Sith
ghost
or another
couldn't
person couldn't
communicate.
appear to someone who has the Force ghost ability.
Right.
that they can't communicate with.
They-
Because
Well-
if they're Force ghosts, they're one with the Force, basically. The Force surrounds all living things.
All living
It
things
binds
binds
us
them.
together. So even though
What
you're
about-
on the dark side, that's part of
The
what
question
all
about
living
the
things. I don't know.
Question be
spirits?
whether a Force ghost could appear in the presence.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think that's scripture. Maybe.
I
I don't know.
think
We've
there's
never
an
seen
answer.
it.
If there is, there could be something in a book or comic I haven't
If
seen.
Debbie
but-
does it,
if Debbie, if
Twitter
you're
is
listening-
gonna explode. They're gonna go crazy.
They are gonna go crazy. That's not
What-
my Force ghost. No, I don't know. I really don't
I
know
was
the
only
answer.
speculating from the power of that. If that was possible,
Yeah, just if
the
it's
power
possible.
of the moment, it would have a bigger impact on Anakin than it would on Obi-Wan.
What was the
Yeah.
episode of Clone Wars
Potentially.
when Darth Bane's like helmet was like his spirit or whatever was like infused in that and like came to life and was like Darth Bane.
Oh.
So like what is that then? Cuz that was visible to the dark side and like 'cause they were both
Mhm.
I don't remember that episode that well, then I remember like
Yeah, I think it's iffy when it comes to the Sith stuff too, because a lot of times that's just like I view it as like
hallucination.
my head canon is like it's almost like a spell.
Yeah.
It's like Darth Bane wasn't actually a Force ghost spirit in that moment. It was almost
Yeah.
something that he just instilled for that instant to happen.
Yeah.
Like
It was
you can't just call up Darth Bane and be like, "Hey, what up, buddy?"
How you
Objects
doing?
can
Just like-
hold
but you
How
can.
you
You can.
doing?
How you doing?
Can't objects hold like a spirit though.
I think in
There was in Light of the Jedi there was some
yeah,
stuff with that.
there was. I don't know if it was an actual human spirit though.
Yeah, it was just
It
embodying
was embodying the dark side.
dark side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It was containing
It was contained.
dark side elements
Yeah.
in objects. I mean, we know Palpatine had Sith objects that were consumed with the dark side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know those things are out there. I don't know the dark side, so I couldn't tell you. I haven't dabbled in it,
I
haven't-
haven't dabbled in it.
or have I?
Just crying.
Obi-Wan has to go, or Obi-Wan, yeah, this is true. Obi-Wan has to go from empathy and regret about Anakin to gee, you can't kill your father, Luke. That's too bad. Yeah, you're right. So there is a moment where he goes from, I think what you're saying is he goes from where he's at now to at some point realizing he has to die. Because I know we were speculating earlier, like where Obi-Wan's at right now, do we see him being able to be the one to kill Anakin, or is there
Mhm.
still a part of him that's like, I'm still holding out hope that he can turn back, that I can get to him, or
Yep.
that someone can get to him.
Yep.
And I feel like right now that's a possibility. He's still holding out the hope because of the quote that we all obviously have.
Mhm.
But at some point, he definitely gets to the perspective where he tells Luke, "Well, then the Emperor has already won
Mhm.
because I can't kill my own father."
And it's possible that doesn't happen in this.
It's possible it doesn't happen in the
series.
show. Yeah.
I have come to terms with the fact that certain elements don't line up,
And that's Star Wars.
and I'm okay with that. In fact,
yeah.
I'm comfortable leaning into that because we talked about this a couple casts ago. If Star Wars becomes creating the boxes that fill in the spaces correctly,
Yeah.
it's too limiting. We're losing the opportunity
We're just checking boxes.
to tell great stories. So when there are gaps, I'm kind of leaning into those gaps more. If the story is driven forward and we're learning about the character, from telling things new and making it entertaining, and it's Star Wars, introducing new characters. When
Which
there
is
are
exactly
gaps
what
at the
George
end,
did.
I'm okay with that.
Which is exactly what George did. Which
Exactly
is why
what we
he
see
made
between three
literally
and-
why he made the line. Well, from a certain point of view,
That's
Um,
exactly
that
right.
is the theme of
He did
Star
it between
Wars.
4 and 5, and
Yeah.
you get another Death Star between 4 and 6. That was awful quick. I mean, that's a
Right.
big deal. And they had another
Right.
one out there somewhere. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had
Anyway.
10 years to simmer on Tatooine too. After all this, whatever happens in this
Right.
last episode,
Right.
maybe he's like, maybe they're still good. And he sits there for 10 years just hearing about all the things the Empire's doing. He's like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Right. So I'm
Just
comfortable
growing old and grumpy.
with. Yeah, that's right. Just throwing back,
Just throwing back. Cup of Java juice.
Another-
Too much Java juice.
loaded Jawa juice.
Another comment too was Qui-Gon truly believed that Anakin was like a father to him. He really
Yeah.
was the father figure for him, which is why, hence, Duel of the Fates is called Duel of the Fates,
Yeah.
right? Which is why it's so important in knowing that Qui-Gon's death was huge foreshadowing for Anakin's.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew
Set
Anakin's
the
outcome
path.
at that point, but
It set the path.
it set the path
Yeah.
for his trajectory because the one person who really saw him or really could be the father figure for him was gone.
Right.
Um,
If you guys haven't watched Filoni's rant on the gallery,
oh my god.
which is
it's in the Mando gallery,
it's in
right?
the Mando gallery. It's one episode. I forget which one it is. He's talking about. He goes on this rant about Duel of Fates and how important it is, and all the directors are like aghast because it's
They're
so,
like, I get it now.
so brilliant. But what's interesting to me, if you take that one step, he talks about the fact that Duel of Fates is that Anakin,
That is
the
the
entire
moment.
future of the Force rested in that moment when Qui-Gon died and Obi-Wan took over. It put Anakin on a trajectory to the dark side. That's when it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the one who had a hand in that was Darth Maul, who actually was then intent. We realized that he needed to prevent that from happening,
Right. That's
which
true.
he actually started it.
He started it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
kind
true.
of crazy.
That's true.
kinda cool.
He started it and then he wants to end it.
And then he's like, "Wait a minute,
What have I
I'm
done?
being left out.
What
of
have I
this.
done?
What have I done?"
Yeah, no,
I'll do
that's
whatever
true
you
though.
ask.
Because he said, and then Obi-Wan goes on to call Anakin a worthless life form in Phantom Menace. That's true.
Yeah.
Another worthless life form.
Right.
Whatever the quote is. Jar Jar and Anakin.
Just yeah, making Jar Jar and Anakin just equivalents there.
yeah.
Maybe not the
Why do
greatest
we
of looks.
fail to pick
But
up
no,
on
I
that?
mean, we've talked about that a lot. Is that Obi-Wan took on Anakin as a Padawan out of a promise. Qui-Gon took him on because he truly believed in the prophecy.
and he
Truly
loved him.
believed, yeah.
I think he really loved him.
He
as
really
a
cared
son.
for him. He
Mhm.
saw the environment he was in. He was a
Mhm.
slave.
Mhm.
And he obviously was, we know Qui-Gon was really into the Force, learning about the Force, all this stuff. So he believed in that idea of him being the chosen one, his high metachlorian count. So he's like, no, we have to train this person. We can't let him be in the hands of anybody else.
One of the things Filoni talks about is it's what brought Vader back was actually compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the one thing that Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan trains Anakin out of duty.
Yep.
Yep.
Qui-Gon was training Anakin out of devotion,
Yes.
and it would have taught him compassion and love. Obi-Wan's character is kind of cold and distant.
Yeah.
He's more authoritarian. He's not
Yep.
loving. Qui-Gon, I
Right.
think, would have treated him like a son. Obi-Wan treated him like
Right.
just like a regular
Yeah.
Padawan learner.
And I
And
think
it's put
Obi-Wan
him on a different path.
and I think Obi-Wan and Anakin get to that point when it's too late.
They
Because
do.
he gets to the point where he said, "I loved you. You were my brother, Anakin."
They do. He
but
says
that's
that.
different than a father figure who would do anything. Like Obi-Wan, even in that moment, is well, all right. Well, I'll do what I must. You know what I mean? It wasn't no Anakin. Like I mean, he tried to convince him, but it wasn't. I'm not gonna fight you.
Right.
I'm not gonna Luke Skywalker this and throw my saber down. You just have to kill me because that's what Luke would do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Luke's like, no, okay, well, you're really this evil? You're going to have to kill me then because I'm not going to fight you.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
Obi-Wan's immediate response was, all right, well, I will do what I must. Let's
That's
go.
right.
It wasn't, you know what I mean? So the responses are very different. Whereas what you're saying with Qui-Gon was really the compassion for Anakin, the
the
environment he
boy.
was in, the little boy. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Which is why I think it's a huge thing, a reason, because a lot of people had the question as to why did George choose to make Anakin so young? Like, why
Right.
couldn't we start the prequels with him being a little bit older? Why do we have to have
Yeah.
Jake Lloyd, an actor that's so young?
Yeah.
And I really think that was it, to show an innocent little boy and to really show how tragic these moments were to lead to the ultimate tragedy of him turning to the dark side.
Yeah.
It's not as strong if you don't get that idea of the little boy Anakin, how innocent he was
Mhm.
with,
It's the innocence
yeah,
and the lack he didn't have a father, and everybody he loved, even at a young age,
yeah,
died.
yeah,
It's tragic.
exactly.
Did you ever hear the
Yeah.
Tragedy
of
of
the
Darth Vader.
Because it is.
Vader,
It's a tragedy.
robotic.
The robotic.
Tall Baller says, "What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome to the live." Before we wrap up, is there
Wait,
anything?
what? Well, I thought we just get started. I'm just kidding.
I thought we just started.
We got 2 hours.
I thought we were going till next episode.
Yeah.
Before we wrap
Marathon.
up, is
Marathon.
there other things that maybe we wanted to touch on that we didn't touch? And same, this goes for chat too. I know there's a handful of you in chat, so let us know. Are there any topics that we missed or any moments we didn't cover for
But
this
the last episode?
Yeah, for this episode 5.
You see Anakin in the training scene. Anakin whip out just the 2-handed like axe chop on Obi-Wan, and then
Yes.
in episode 6,
Right.
he's the one defending getting axe chopped by Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw it in episode 3 of this season. Vader
Yeah.
is going on Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's in the exact same
That's
Yep.
right.
He's in
He
the
is.
exact same stance on the ground.
Vader's always
blocking
just
it.
had that
just
chopping.
the
and dude's
hard
just like,
swing,
"Dude,
yeah.
Stop.
And that's the moment Luke most identified with his father.
yeah.
That's when
True.
he's like, wait a second.
And that's when he realized, wait, if I do this, I'll
I'm
become
doing
him.
the same stuff he is.
If I do this, I'll become him. Man, it's good.
Yeah.
You guys like episode 5 of Obi-Wan? Yes. We loved it.
Oh, wait, 5? No, it's terrible.
Oh, we're talking about 5
I thought, 5 was bad.
of Obi-Wan.
Of
I thought we were
Obi-Wan.
doing Boba Fett tonight.
Obi-Wan was
Oh, is that what we were doing?
bad. No, I thought it was, yeah. But
I'm
we loved it. I thought
We
it was
loved it.
so good.
It was
So
so
good.
good. Yeah.
So good.
You can watch the podcast back if you're just getting here, but yeah, I mean we
Loved
talked we opened up actually with our overall thoughts.
What
and
is
it
what
was
is
just-
the Twitterverse been like on this? Is
the
it
Twitterverse
you
has
getting
been
some negatives or is it pretty much?
it's Star Wars, so you're always going to get negatives.
I
But
really want to know what they didn't like.
I mean 99% of people are like, finally, this is amazing, all this stuff. It all
Yeah.
paid off, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so
I
a
heard-
lot of the critics,
it all
a
paid
lot
off
of the
like the previous 4
It
all
episodes
paid
were
off.
torture.
I know the critics.
on.
The
Wait till they
critics
see the
have-
next one's all about Boba Fett. They're gonna flip
Mando.
out. Mando's
Oh,
amazing.
Mando. I can't wait till the next one's all about Grand Inquisitor.
That'd be awesome.
It's just showing him being stomach being rebuilt,
It's a
and that's it. Did you
like
know he had 2 stomachs? that's the whole thing.
it's actually a Greedo origin story.
it's
Episode 6 is like he's on Tatooine. He's a little kid. Greedo's growing up. It would be so good. I'd love to see that.
yeah. No.
So I heard George Lucas talk about this when people gave him a hard time about the prequels, and I think it applies here. He's like,
he said, "I'll sell it.
He said,
I
will sell my
Star
soul
Wars."
for Jar Jar. No, he said, he said I wanted to. He said people asked me, why did you do this? He said, well, I wanted. It's like if I paint my
Yeah.
house green, it's just because I wanted a green house. I mean, it could have been blue.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I wanted green.
He kind of said, if you want to paint a house blue, knock yourself
Go-
out.
Go for it.
It's
There's
my
a
house.
reason why I let the legends be made.
It's
That's
my-
what George was like. Yeah, if you guys want to make legends, you can, because he allowed that to
Yeah,
happen.
go ahead.
Mhm.
He didn't, because he could have easily said, nope, no
Yeah.
one's using Star Wars.
Right.
That's my
But
name.
if I'm painting the house,
But he's like, if you guys want to paint orange and red, go do it in Legends.
that's great. I wanted a greenhouse, so Deborah wanted to wait till episode 5,
yeah.
and Kathy said, "Go ahead."
And here's the thing, though. I think it's funny too because I don't even think we waited to episode 5. I mean, yes, this was the
No,
most.
I don't think.
This
I don't
was,
see it that way.
This was Vader at the peak.
Yeah.
But they already teased us with a great scene of Obi-Wan and Vader
Oh, it was
in
awesome.
episode 3.
Yeah.
Especially with Vader getting tortured. I made it sound like I was itching to see torture.
Torture,
Seeing
torture,
Obi-Wan,
torture.
seeing Obi-Wan get tortured in the flame, I mean, it's easy to say, but it just obviously all had a purpose in showing he was weaker. He needs to grow. He needs to realize he needs to get back in tune with
Yeah.
the Force. Like you mentioned earlier, Uncle, of Obi-Wan taking on more of that leadership role again.
Yep.
It was all leading to these moments.
Mhm.
And you can't, if we start with that, there's no development. There's just like, oh, okay, well, that's great. I love these scenes. But if I want this every level, every episode, I can go play The Force Unleashed.
That's right.
I don't.
It
yeah.
wasn't a 3-minute montage, Rocky moment where you get in
Yeah.
shape. If we got
Yeah.
we've gotten 4
Yeah.
episodes in that.
Yeah, and honestly,
Getting
even
better
this
every
one
time.
was so good.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't. It still wasn't like prequel fighting.
No.
It was what made it so cool is that it was Vader in a sense that we recognize him, but still kind of semi-newer stuff that we're like, oh,
Mhm.
that's stronger than what we've even seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've seen him do this stuff, but now he's just throwing Reva left and right. He's stopping ships.
things that we've kind of seen before, but it just took it to a whole nother level.
Is the dark side stronger?
No.
I think maybe it is.
I think maybe it is.
It looks stronger.
Luke said
It's a good
next
question.
episode is Din Djarin birth. You're right, Din Djarin birth.
Ooh.
That's right. Along with
Yep.
Grogu's escape,
That'd be awesome.
along with Cal's gonna show up. Here's the thing:
Are we
if
gonna
this
get-
doesn't happen,
Are we going to get more Luke?
I think we have to.
Feels like we are.
Oh, we have to with that
with that
end
teaser.
scene.
I mean, he's right there.
We
he's
gotta
just
get.
he's
So
just
let's
sleeping.
yeah. Maybe we wrap it up with that.
What if-
Where do we
That's-
go? Where do we go from here? Do all paths lead to Luke?
Hmm.
Let me ask you this before we wrap up.
Reva's path leads to Luke.
I think
I
so.
think so.
I think you're right.
He really
At
wants to
what
shut it
moment
down.
in
Can-
next
so the idea is when he says that, we got to just ramp it back up. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. That's
We've been
true.
trying to go like an hour, and we're
Yeah, we're
blowing
good.
that out of the water.
Where do we see? At what point in the next episode, assuming Leia does make it back to Alderaan, at what point does that happen in the next episode?
Mhm.
Does it happen relatively early so that there's more stuff after, or is that kind of where we're all going? Because then I feel like that doesn't leave a lot of room for Luke.
Mhm.
So if we're actually moving back to Tatooine and getting some Luke stuff, I feel like Leia's got to get back. Or
I
maybe
feel-
she doesn't. Maybe she
she's
just gets.
still there.
Maybe
out
she's
there.
just in the hands of someone else. But I don't feel like Obi-Wan's like that. I don't know.
No.
If she gets to Alderaan, I don't think it'll be like early. Somehow, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, she."
Or do they just go straight to Tatooine? He bring.
Straight there. What if
Is
he
it-
brings her
if they
there?
met there? If they met,
They don't know their brother and sister.
they don't know their brother and
She
sister.
just say somehow I've always known. When did that start?
Mm-hmm.
Have they met before?
I don't know. That would
Just-
make sense.
Let me ask you: would Luke know who Princess Leia is? She's a princess.
On another planet, though.
That's true, but I mean, part of the
They're looking
galactic,
for the center of the galaxy. It's the
galactic
planet that's
Senate.
farthest from. I don't know.
The Senate, though, the Empire, she's still in the politics. We know that in books and canon stuff. She's present at Imperial balls and stuff as playing her politician role.
He might. I really think that Owen has kept Luke out of
Just-
all of that stuff.
I think
They
so.
don't have. He doesn't have access to. He knows about his friends
He
that
doesn't
go
have
off
the
to
internet.
join.
He doesn't have the holocom.
He doesn't
He's
have the
not on-
holonet.
He's
The
not
holonet.
online.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
not on Twitter.
He's not on Twitter.
Yeah, I think you're right. Luke in chat said they met at birth.
Nice.
They
I mean, he's
did.
not wrong.
Well said. Touche, Luke
They
Skywalker.
did.
You are Luke Skywalker.
Mhm.
Oh man, yeah. I feel like she's got. If we're seeing Luke, she's got to get back early, right?
Yeah.
Halfway through, maybe. I don't know how they get out
Maybe.
of what they're in right now. How do they
Mhm.
get out of this? Are we gonna see some big Is there gonna be a big tragedy?
It's like everyone dies. That's the.
I hope not.
Could see it though. There's a bunch of
I
nameless.
feel like more people. I feel
nameless
like
people.
I feel like at this point, someone else has to.
Yeah.
I don't know if. I mean, it was sad seeing Tala and Loader go out, but I feel like it's got to be more.
I gotta put
Yeah.
Roken's not looking good.
Roken's not looking good.
I mean, I like him. He's great.
What's the other
but-
guy's name? The Fedi, the fake Jedi.
The Fed Eye. Oh yeah.
What's his name?
He's the guy that
Ka-
dropped the
Ka-
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
We
deserves
talk
to
about
die.
this. He deserves to die.
Man,
You hear me, Fed
gave away the second greatest secret in the galaxy.
Yeah. How about that?
Almost.
One
Man.
minor mistake, death. Just might be a little harsh.
It's unfortunate.
He said you would think 9 months together would be long enough for them to know each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
Somehow they've always known.
Somehow they've always known. Yeah, I don't know where they go. I'm just can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
What do we got?
Can't
One
wait
day,
to know.
a week.
Same
A week.
thing. I might not sleep till then. Guys, I watched this at 2 a.m.
No,
I'll be honest with you. I was just all over Twitter. I was laying in bed trying to go back to sleep, and I was like, my heart was pounding. I was like, I couldn't fall back to sleep for like 2 hours in the middle of the night after watching this.
What is next Wednesday? What
I don't
day
know
is
if that's
that?
a good thing or a bad thing.
22nd. Might have to
Mhm.
call off work. Just saying.
Just
Yeah.
have to.
Just saying.
You
He's
heard
not-
it
he's
here
not
first.
saying that online.
You heard it here
Just-
first,
Right.
boss man.
No, I'm really sick.
You'll
Oh,
be real
man.
sick in a week. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Anything else? Did we miss anything?
Nope, we got every
We
single
we
thing.
covered literally every single thing that we could have possibly covered.
Listen, if
It's
next
gonna be
episode, if we don't get Mace, if we
we
don't get literally anything World Between Worlds, I'm done with Star Wars.
World between worlds.
I swear, if we don't get no,
hilarious.
Morkai, what's the bird?
If Ahsoka doesn't come riding in on a if Ahsoka doesn't come riding in on a Loth Wolf, I'm done.
Loth wolf named Doom.
If Ahsoka doesn't come riding in on Bendu, I'm done.
The one.
Kanan.
Kanan,
Ezra.
sorry.
I gotta find my parents.
The podcast is over, Ezra.
No.
Ezra.
When they showed the Luke laying in bed sleeping scene, I
thought
could
of,
I could already see it. Just the meme edit. Just the
Of
room
Luke?
lights up red. You.
That's
Just
good.
goes to George Lucas.
I thought for sure you were gonna
man.
say Luke, a meme of Luke standing over him, like he did Ben.
With the green saber.
We should
No,
do
just-
that. Let's go put Luke standing over
Just
himself.
Man.
clone.
Clone. Clone.
And that's all, folks. Clone.
Clone.
All right. I think we touched everything.
Mm-hmm.
Touched it all with the Force.
With the Force.
No, honestly, thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate it. If you guys are still here, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Liking this video really helps. Helps the numbers, helps get this stuff pushed out. We love to get as many people to our lives as possible. So if you got
Yeah.
friends that like Star Wars, tell them about the podcast. Get them over here. As you can see, we try to stay up with the comments as much as possible throughout the podcast, unless we're like really diving into something. We don't want to interrupt someone's point, but
What do you mean? We
try
don't
to get
interrupt.
to
Who
we don't interrupt
interrupts?
each other. What were we talking about?
I interrupted him talking about interrupting. I see what I did there.
Interruption.
But we try to get to all the comments too. So, but the more the merrier. It's fun. We like getting ideas, maybe things that we missed or whatever things you want us to touch on throughout these episodes.
Yeah.
So we got one episode left. We can't wait to see you guys back here next week. I'm sure the finale is going to be great.
I got a quote to you at the
You
end.
got a quote?
I've been
All right.
working on something.
Oh.
For about 15 minutes. I think I got it.
Okay. So we'll get to the quote then. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The key to hunting the Jedi is patience.
They hunt themselves.